Welcome to Madison. It's the Radicals versus the Detroit Mechanix tonight. Last time the game went to double overtime, and we're going to get started right now. First pull goes up to the Madison Radicals. Ben Nelson collects. Upfield to Andrew Brown. Finds Schleicher. Nobody's guarding him. Up to Wiseman. Right back to Schleicher. Turns around real quick and catches it. Reset to Brown. Cross to Karen. A little bit stagnant. Resets to Brown. Back to Karen. Fakes the inside. Up to Animal. Tom Annan. Up to Schleicher. Somebody's guarding him now. And up to Thibodeau for the score. One to 0 Radicals. The Mechanix have moved it up. And now reset to the handler near their goal line. Big bid by Jaden Scullion. Can't get there. Big huck goes up. Glenn's there under it. And pulls it out of the air for the turn. Quick movement up the line. Spire's got the disc. Jaden circling. Spire finds an upline cut to this to Weber. Moved up to Glenn. Reset to Scullion. Crossfield to Alexander. Alexander break throw to Glenn, who makes a great grab on his knees for the score. So the Radicals lead 2 to 0. Mechanix find a 10-yard undercut. Reset to the handler. Another 10-yard upfield throw. And another 10-yard. They're just past midfield now. Reset to the handler. And swung around. Big hammer goes up to the force side. And it's caught, but he's not in. Quick reset, and a dish, and in for the score. Big pull goes up to Brown. It's a junk of some sort, a 3-3-1 perhaps. Brown has the disc, finds Thibodeau on the sideline. Reset to Brown. Not a lot of pressure from the defense. Wiseman's wide open, unmarked. Finds some movement to Schleicher, right back to Wiseman. Throws it up to Karen in the corner of the back of the end zone, and he's in for the score. All right, well, they're back on, so thanks. So it looks like a 2-4-1 from the Radicals. Not a lot of wind tonight. I'm surprised that we've seen as much zone as we have. Big grab by Porter. The Radicals continue in their zone, trying to get the double team. Big huck to the end zone, goes up. Porter's tracking it down and grabs it in the very back of the end zone, towing the line. Nelson mishandles the pull a little bit, but still gets the first throw off to Brown. He fakes a big huck to Thibodeau, who had steps. But nobody's guarding Brown. Finally, they get into their man defense. Schleicher's now with the disc on the sideline, moving it up to Wiseman past midfield. Big huck goes up to Tom Animal Annan, tracking it, grabs it in the back of the end zone. So there's a quick turnover. The Radicals get a chance to extend their lead. Jaden with the disc, inside break to Reef. Reset to Wiseman, and across to Glenn. A little inside throw to Petty Scandling, who dishes it off to Scullion for the score. So the Radicals lead 5-2. They're coming down in another sort of junky defense. Swain gets a touch on that throw, but it's completed to the middle handler. Huck goes up, looks like it might be going, tailing out of bounds. It's going to be a turnover. Radicals will get the disc back. Jaden immediately releases a Huck to Swain. Swain bobbles the catch. Can't come down with it. The Mechanix are going to get it back. And the Mechanix bobble the disc and turn it over immediately to Scullion, who throws a hammer cross field, incomplete. Mechanix will get it again. Looks like they want to slow things down a little bit. Get set into their horizontal stack. The Radicals are in some sort of junk. Radicals are at, the Mechanix are near midfield. Big throw completed, upfield, and a big Huck goes out to the end zone. Wiseman with a bid, but the offensive player comes down with the catch for the goal. There's about 5.5 minutes left in the first period. Offensive line comes out in a horizontal stack, trying to isolate Schleicher. Successfully completed, and immediately reset to Karen. And back to Brown. Over to Nelson. To Wilson. Wilson up to Schleicher. Just past midfield now. They move it up to Thibodeau. Schleicher makes a good cut-up line with steps. The Radicals choose to reset it. Hannon with the disc now, floats a pass to Schleicher. Schleicher is double teamed, a little contact, but no foul called. Up to Brown. And up to Schleicher for the score. Radicals come down. Glenn is playing midfield. So it's going to be another junk zone. Mechanix work it. I think that's Bansfield with the disc. No. They move it up to Highsmith. And there's an uncovered player in the corner of the end zone for a score. 6-4, the home team leads. Brown milks that pass for as many yards as possible. Immediate inside break to Wiseman. Wiseman, big Huck to Schleicher in the end zone. He's going to come down with that. Smooth offensive point there. Radicals are up 7-4. They're in some sort of junk, maybe. And Jaden gets a layout D. Radical's going to get the disc. Annan across to Reef. Up to Glenn. Dish to Scullion. Not much pressure on the handlers. All the way across to Annan. Annan looks off, downfield cut from Rohowitz. Handlers are moving it with ease. Radicals up to Reef. To Annan. And to Glenn for the score. No problems there. For Wiseman with the pull. Wiseman's been playing on the O-line for most of this game. That's due to Pat Schreiweis's injury. He's going to be out for several weeks. The Radicals are in their zone again. It's been relatively effective, despite it looking like there's not that much pressure on any of these individual throws. A scuba floats over the defender, or over the target, and it's a turnover. Volkman picks up, cross to DeBile. Back to Volkman. Finds a nicer round to Alexander, who floats a pass into the end zone, and that's Weber with the score. It's 9-4. Porter with the disc. Movement up past midfield. Porter toes the line. Throws a little disc just out the back of the end zone. And it looks like there's a timeout called by the Radicals. The Radicals bring in their offensive line. Nelson immediate hammer to Brown in the middle of the field. Up to Thibodeau. Annan has steps. Comes under. Schleicher's got steps. He's going to jump in for the score. It's less than a minute left in the first quarter. Mechanix come out in a side stack. Not going to be particularly effective against the zone that the Radicals have been putting on every point. But they find an opening up the middle of the field. Up to Holkotter. And now across the field. Alexander creates contact. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty. Radicals are moving out into man defense. Contact drawn. The crowd is counting down the time, but I'm pretty sure the time will stop during the foul.
10 seconds to do, Radicals!
Big hammer cross field, complete. Looking for a continuation. He gets it for the score. 3 seconds remain. Jaden catches it and launches a huck. Looks like it's going to be a little bit short. Porter comes down with the disc. And that's the end of the quarter. Welcome back. It's 10-5. Radicals are leading. Bansfield up to Holkalter. Rohowitz with a bid, but no luck. It looks like a man defense with a last back. Nobody's on the man with the disc. Inside break, Reef with a big bid. but he's in for the score. It's a big high floating pull. It's going to come down a little bit short. Big fake to Schleicher. Big bid, but Thibodeau comes down with the grab. Up to Schleicher and reset to Brown. Annan with steps, finds space underneath, but is looked off. Wiseman over to Schleicher. Up to Thibodeau. Reset to Brown. Over to Nelson. Nelson inside break to Annan. Continue to Brown. Brown to Thibodeau for the score in the corner of the end zone. We've got a great crowd out here tonight. It looks like it might be the largest attendance of the year. Sunny Saturday night. Nothing better to do. So the Radicals are coming out in their classic zone. Double teaming the couple of handlers. The Mechanix are working it seamlessly through this defense. Now 10 yards outside the Radicals' end zone. Hammer goes up, and Glenn gets the D. Alexander throwing to space. Spyro looking to catch up to that disc, but he can't make it. It'll be a turnover. A high release flick to the break side is collected for a D by Weber. Up to Jaden Scullion, who throws a crossfield hammer to Wilson, who toes the line in for a score. Scullion with the big pull. The Mechanix find a reset and a continuation around. Upfield. It's got steps. Throws it out to space. It's too far. Scullion floats out to Rohowitz. Comes down with a disc. Centers to Swain. Over to Scullion. Scullion to Reef. Beats the a nice layup bid. Reset to Annan, over to Scullion, and up to Swain. Rohowitz has steps, but Swain chooses the under to Reef. Reef is stuck on the sideline looking for help. Finds Scullion with an upline cut. Throws a push pass to Pettit Scanling, who throws it in to Swain for the score.
Madison goal.
Volkman with the pull, throws a roller. Looks like they'll be setting up their double team immediately. The Mechanix immediately throw a hammer. Wilson with a near bid attempt. The Mechanix are off and running. Two Mechanix players run into each other, but they're having no trouble moving it between players, and they go in for an easy score. Annan and Schleicher as the primaries, and Wiseman and Thibodeau on the rails. Disc is in up to Annan and reset immediately to Karen and around to Brown. Not much pressure on the handlers. Brown slips, but Schleicher gets in there for the bid to save possession. Upfield to Wiseman. Wiseman puts up a huck to Schleicher. Schleicher, big bid, just out of his reach.
It's called a bid and ultimate, folks. Go to Schleicher. Come on, D! Come on, defense!
So the Radicals are back into their junk. Hammer to a wide open Mechanix player. And a cross field. Porter surveying the field, throws a hammer cross field, not from too many yards. The Radicals are really trying to pressure the short throws, and the cross field throw is going to result in a turnover. Brown picks up the disc. 10-yard gainer to Schleicher. Immediately reset. Break throw, cross to Wiseman. Wiseman, dish throw to Karen. Karen puts out a fake, gets it over to Schleicher. Wiseman, 5 yards out the end zone. Throws it. Thibodeau toes the line for the score. It's a great pull from Scullion. Taking forever to come down. The 2-4-1 is containing them. Mechanix finally break through past midfield. Not much pressure on these throws, but the Mechanix have shown that they are willing to take risky throws, sometimes causing turnovers. Big cross-field throw into the end zone for the score. Ref calls him in. So the Radicals lead 14-8. They come out in a side stack. Actually, it's an isolation play to Wiseman, who gets the under. Anna with steps, slips a little bit, and the Mechanix get the D. It's a backhand force. The handler doesn't come off his hand cleanly, and it's a turnover. Nelson with a high release breakthrow backhand to Schleicher. Schleicher throws it up to Thibodeau, not quite in, throws a push pass to Nelson, and Nelson is in for the score. Four minutes left. Immediate huck goes up. Weber comes down with the disc. Up to Glenn, up to DeBile. Up to Swain, back to DeBile. DeBile throws it up to Glenn. Glenn gets a hand on it, but can't reel it in. Radicals are in man. Big huck goes up, but it's trailing off, and it's going to be a turnover. Scullion up to Glenn. Weber is left all alone, catches the disc. I don't know if there's a man down. It might be an injury. Alexander's in for the score. Wiseman with a great pull. Reef with a bid. Big Huck goes up, corner of the end zone. Layout. Can't come down with it. It's a turnover. Mechanix are double teaming, gets a hand on it, but Petit Scanling collects the disc. Big Huck goes up to Wiseman. Not in good position for this. It's a good defensive play by the Mechanix.
Get yourself a slice of Roman can of pizza.
Minute and a half remains. Mechanix gonna try and close the gap a little bit. Big layout to save possession. And a cross-field throw. And a continue. Floating disc. Wiseman's going to come down with it. Around to Petit Scantling. And up to Wilson. Hammers it cross-field to Glenn. Defended, but comes down with a score. 54 seconds left before halftime. It's a zone. Floats the disc to space. Weber comes down with that throw. Wiseman gets big in the air and then throws it a blade to the corner. Weber can't come down with it. It's good defense. And the Mechanix call an immediate timeout to get that one last shot. So there are 19 seconds remaining. The Radicals are coming out in a zone. Immediately, the hammer comes off cross field, but they can't seem to move it up. And they're up 10 yards. Big Huck goes up, defended. Glenn gets it, and the half is over. So we're back out of halftime. The Radicals are up 17-8. Isolation play to Thibodeau. Nelson scoobers it over there and collects the reset. Upfield to Brown. Brown fakes the Huck to Schleicher. Gets D'd by Porter. Porter's going for big for the score. Big Huck goes up to him. He reads it well. In for the score. So the Radicals look to put their first point on the board out of half. The last throw, the turnover in the last point was not a D. It was just a missed throw. Glenn is unmarked. Looking upfield for anything. Finds Schleicher on the sideline. Fakes to Swain, resets to Glenn. Glenn throws right into Porter. And the Mechanix will try and work it up. Big hammer cross field. Continued to Porter. Grabs it on the sideline. Throws, draws some contact and wants a foul, but he's not going to get it. Brown's going to be credited with a D. Volkman picks up. Looks to move it off the sideline. Around to Brown. Little contact, no call. Over to Karen. Karen goes to the middle to Glenn. A little bit cluttered, but he finds Volkman. Up to Swain, big bid. Up to Reef, another bid. Swain's tripped up, but the disc is going between Volkman and Karen. Schleicher finds a hole for 10 yards. Cross to Swain. Swain puts up a Huck to Glenn. It blades over him and his defender. It's going to be a turnover. Big huck goes up. Lots of space and lots of time. Swain's coming off the backside to try and get the D. Big bid for the grab. He's not in. Dishes it, resets, puts his feet in for the score, and a kick spike. So the Mechanix are coming out of halftime with seemingly renewed energy. They're going to have a long way to close the gap, though. Nelson has the disc, throws it upfield to Wiseman. Wiseman chooses an upfield throw to Nelson. Nelson throws into a defender, and the Mechanix are going to get a chance for another break. Mechanix are moving it quickly, but not for many yards. Lots of flips between handlers. Still only 10 yards out. Big huck goes off. And it's complete. Crossfield collects it about a yard outside the end zone. Looks off a dish throw. Looking for a backhand to somebody. Finds one. And a reset to the handlers. Working. That's across the Bansfield. Big huck. Wiseman gets another D, and Wilson's going to pick up the trash. Centered to Scullion. Throws it to space. Schleicher's there. Comes down with it. Dish to Wilson. Schleicher's got space. He's going to come down with another score. The pull. Schwein centers it. Up to Hochhalter. Resets between handlers. Finds an inside break. Big huck goes up to Hochhalter, who's unguarded. So the pull goes up. Nelson up to Brown. It's a zone. Brown throws a blade to Wiseman. Up to Glenn. Glenn fakes a big huck. Finds Wiseman for another 20 yards. Up to Schleicher for another. They're right outside the end zone now. And Schleicher's going to toe the line. He is ruled out. It certainly looked like he had toes in, but the referee had a good view of it. The Mechanix throw a hammer crossfield. And they're off to the races. Transitioning very well. Porter's stuck with the disc, throws a scoober. Hochhalter with the disc. Centered. That's up to Bansfield. And Hochhalter catches it for the score. 18-12. We're halfway through the third quarter. Radicals with a 6-point lead. Scullion up to Annan. To Glenn and to Brown. The Mechanix are in a junk zone. The Radicals are having no trouble finding room to throw to. Volkman finds Swain. Reset to Volkman, but it's a travel. It's going to be a turnover.
Let's go, guard! Tighten up, guard! Here we go, Jaden!
Traveling results in a turnover.
Let's go, Jaden! Good work! Inside!
Big fake by Vantries, but a reset. And Animal with the big D. Detroit comes back in their zone, leaving Reef uncovered. Up to Jaden. Scullion throws a big huck to Annan, but it's an overthrow. Detroit's gonna get the disc back. And they're going to call a timeout. So we're back from the timeout. Radicals are putting on a double team. Detroit finds a blade to move it up the field. And a disc way cross field. And then across field again. A dish. And then now they're 10 yards outside the end zone. Holkalter with the dish. And a big hammer to an unguarded player. But Wilson recovers the ground and gets the D. Scullion throws a huck, but it's incomplete. Detroit gets the disc again. Radicals are in a man. Good defense. And a stall is called. Turnover. Wiseman draws contact. 10-yard penalty. Wiseman fakes a big hammer, throws a crossfield blade. Spyro collects. 10 yards outside the end zone. Throws a hammer across field to DeBile. It's a little bit short though. Detroit gets the D. Holkalter starts with the disc. Moves up to Bansfield. Fakes a big huck. But resets it to Schwalm. Big bid. But Detroit keeps the disc. Another bid. Bobbled. And contact's drawn, so that's going to be a 10-yard penalty on Scullion. Disc is checked back in. Upfield backhand to Holkalter. Push pass complete. And a bobble on the end zone results in another turnover. Wiseman on the cone. Throws a big huck to Weber. Weber reads it, gets up, comes down with the disc. Looking for Wilson. Said finds Wiseman, who throws a big hammer up. But that's Barnhart with the D. Detroit gets another chance.
Let's go, Spyro, dig deep. Watch the shot. Watch the shot.
Detroit has no trouble moving it upfield for 2 undercuts. And it's a travel. It's going to be another turnover. The clock keeps ticking. And Scullion immediately calls a timeout. So the O-line is back in. Brown's going to start with the disc. It looks like they're lining up in a side stack, isolating Schleicher in the middle of the field. He immediately looks for a deep throw. And they move it to Glenn on the sideline. Throws it cross field, and it's defended. There's 13 seconds left. They have time to throw a couple throws, but they elect to launch it to the end zone. Porter is chasing, can't get there in time. That's going to be the end of the third quarter. The Radicals lead 18-12. So the Radicals pull to start the fourth quarter. They're up 18-12 on defense. Big collision on the first throw. I believe it's just going to be a 10-yard foul. And then we'll get play restarted again.
Go, Madison! Go!
Broken over to Holkalter. Up to Worsfield. Back to Holkalter. Throws a big huck to the end zone. Tracked and caught in the back of the end zone for the score. Fakes a huck to Wiseman. Chooses a high release breakthrougw, which gets D'd by Detroit. Holkalter with the D. Throws a blade to the end zone. Caught for the score. Detroit's pull high up into the air. Tom Animal Annan picks up, fakes the breakthrow, moves it to Brown. Schleicher tries to find a hole, but it's moved to Scullion before Glenn. Up to Wiseman, up to Scullion. Scullion to Wiseman, doing a little give and go. Up to Schleicher, 10 yards outside the end zone. A little cluttered, up to Wiseman, who bids in the end zone for the score. So the Radicals are up 19-14. That's Wilson with the pull. Detroit's looking to move it up quickly. Big huck goes up. That's Highsmith collecting 10 yards outside the end zone. Valtrease across. And now reset. Throws a breakthrow to the corner of the end zone. It's a score, 19-15. The pull goes up. Nelson mishandles the pull. It goes to Brown. Brown over to Annan. And upfield to Wiseman. Detroit has gone on a 7-2 run out of half. Fortunately, the Radicals have had a comfortable lead. Schleicher collects the disc and resets it to Nelson and crossfield to Thibodeau. Up to Annan. To Glenn. Cross to Brown. To Thibodeau. Thibodeau to the end zone. Annan mistimes his jump, but Schleicher is there for the goal. Valtrease to collect. Up to Bansfield. Reset. And across. Hughes moving all around the field on offense, and now he's moved back to his handler position. He collects it on the sideline, moves it up quickly, looking for a give and go, but it's denied. The Mechanix moving it from side to side, not gaining many yards, however. Huck goes up. That's Highsmith towing the line, 10 yards outside the end zone. Holkalter wants a strip called, but Glenn comes down with yet another D. Holkalter draws contact with Wilson. Wilson's going to get 10 yards. Wilson across to DeBile, and DeBile upfield to Alexander. Glenn has space. Valtrease on his back. Gets spacing, but Glenn moves around him and collects the disc for the score. 21-15 Radicals. Radicals have a 6-point lead. bids from both the offense and defense. Porter comes down with it, and he's off to the races. He hucks it, throws to the end zone. Rohowitz on the D. There's a lot of contact between the players, but there is no call. Wiseman's had a big game tonight. He's got 4 assists and 3 Ds, as well as 1 goal. He immediately draws contact, gets free 10 yards. Blades it to Reef, who centers it to Annan, and across field to Rohowitz. To Swain. Swain to the middle. Reef up to Rohowitz. Looks for a reset, finds Swain. Swain to Annan. To Rohowitz. It's a very soft defense. Wiseman has the disc. He floats a disc to space. Petit Scantling coming down with the score in the end zone. Sculling with the pull. It's a great pull. It's at the corner of the end zone. Moved up to Hughes. And across to Schwalm. To Holkalter. Finds an inside break. To Highsmith. To Hughes. And now they're across midfield. The Radicals are in a 2-3-2. Hammer to the midfield. Bid collected. Radicals are transitioning to man defense now. Detroit's working it seamlessly. Blake goes off to the corner, and Glenn's going to come down with another D. Center is to Scullion, all the way across to DeBile. Finds Wilson in the middle. Not much movement from the cutters. Wilson finds Scullion, and now upfield to Weber. Weber up to Glenn, who's unmarked. Finds another throw to the middle. Goes back to the sideline with Weber, 10 yards outside the end zone. Miscommunication there. And Detroit turfs the disc, and it's going to be the Radicals disc one more time. Wilson now has the disc, about 20 yards outside the end zone, unmarked. Throws it to Wilson, or Wilson throws it to DeBile, my mistake. DeBile to Wilson, who blades it to the back of the end zone for the score. Wiseman with a big pull. It's coming out a little short, but lots of time for the defenders to get downfield. So Detroit's kind of stuck on the sideline, looking for something. Finds a blade. Holkalter's got the disc 30 yards out, looking for a hammer. Doesn't find much. Throws an upline throw at a high stall count, but it's a turnover. Annan's going to pick up the disc and walk it up to the end zone line. Immediately to Wiseman. Wiseman looking for a cut. Doesn't find it, so he resets to Annan. Annan fakes the around. Finds an upfield throw to Reef. Reef up to Swain. Reset to Petit Scantling. And back to Swain. Not a lot of pressure. Annan looks off the around, moves up to Swain. Swain reset to Wiseman. Wiseman looking for a big throw. Big huck goes off to Schlitsky. Tipped by the Detroit defender. but Schlitzky comes down with the score. So the Radicals have settled down and they have a comfortable lead again. It's 24-15, 3 minutes remaining in the game. Detroit finds a hammer upfield. And a big huck goes off. It's floating a little bit. Weiss might be able to recover the ground. He goes up for the D, and he's the only one who went up for it. Wiseman immediately throws to Wilson. Big bid. There is a little contact drawn. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty. Wiseman retains the disc. Alexander, the wide open undercut, but Wiseman elects to throw it deep to Glenn, who tries to reach over the defender, but he can't come down with the disc. The Radicals are still in, it looks like they were half in man and half in zone. Big huck goes up. Wilson's going to come down with the D. Moves it upfield to Spyro. Spyro up to DeBile. DeBile to Glenn. Draws contact. 10 yards. DeBile with the upline cut. He's not in, but he gives the dish off to Weber for the score. Radicals are up 25-15. There's just over a minute remaining in the game. Detroit comes out in a side stack. It's not going to be very effective with the zone that the Radicals are putting on. Moving it between handlers, looking for something downfield. Hammer goes off. Highsmith the disc. Cross to Murphy. Over to Schwalm. That's Jones with the disc. Moves it up. Double teamed. Finds an inside break throw. Completed. And Detroit's moving it easily down the field. Finds a shot to the corner of the end zone. And he's in for the score. So the Detroit with the pull. This game's all about wrapped up. Some children look like they're doing some sprints in the stands. But back to the game. Wiseman moves it up to Glenn. Fakes a big hammer. Moves it up to Reef. Reef back to Glenn. Glenn up to Schleicher. 10 seconds remain. Schleicher throws a blade to the corner of the end zone, and Reef comes down with another goal. That's 26-16. 5 seconds left. Presumably the final pull of the game. Big huck immediately into a pack of players. Detroit comes down with the disc, but they're not in the end zone. That's going to be all we have for tonight. Radicals with the win, moving to 4-2 in the Midwest Division. Final score is 26-16. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeremy Weiss. I'd like to thank the camerawoman Mei-Lien for her great camera work, and to all of our fans and the everybody in the crowd. It's been a great game. The Radicals put on a great show tonight.